Hi, this is Asher Bush from Wesley Hills, New York, member of the Executive Committee. And I'd like to share some thoughts which pertain to Parshat Shoftim, but I think are real life ideas that we should be grappling with. And some of them are very difficult. Following the mitzvah to appoint dayanim and the mandate that they carry out their duties with tremendous integrity, the Torah tells us, the one's not allowed to put him as an Asherah, plant some sort of an idolatrous tree. And many are troubled by the connection. What's they got to do? Two separate sets of laws, why they put together. Reish Lakish tells us that Kol Hamami Dayan She'enu Hagun Ki'ilu Noteya Asherah B'Yisrael. Anybody who appoints an inappropriate, unlearned, corrupt, just generally incompetent dayan, they might as well have planted an Asherah, and it doesn't say an Asherah, B'Yisrael, in the Jewish community. And what is that all about? Torah to me would give us a simple explanation. Just like an Asherah causes, worshipping Avodah Zarah causes the Shekhinah to depart from Klal Yisrael, so too the corruption of justice causes the Shekhinah to depart from Israel. You could stop there. That itself is a big lesson. But I think if we look at the Ramban about what an Asherah is, we can go one very significant step further. The Ramban describes an Asherah as not just a tree that was worshipped, but a tree that served as an advertisement. It would be placed outside a pagan temple, outside a shrine, and exactly this idea of it's a neon light, and it's a flashing neon light, inviting people to come and worship this Avodah Zarah. And what we're suggesting here, Lakish is telling us about this connection of the Torah, is that the failure to establish proper dayanim, to appoint incompetent, corrupt, lazy, who knows what people, that to do that, we might as well be advertising for Avodah Zarah. That after all the laws of the Torah have been given, we can't set up a system of justice that shines brightly to all and says, this is the truth, this is the divine truth and justice as it should be set up in the world. And we're saying there's nothing special about the Torah. Sure, we may have some exotic or maybe even some inspirational rituals, but if we can't get this piece of justice right, we're kind of making a statement that, well, we want you to sacrifice, we want you to give up all sorts of things, and we can't give you justice and righteousness in this world. And to say this, we might as well say, live like a pagan with no rules, with less rules. And when we understand it like that, it becomes very similar to the statement of Rabbi Tarfon from Gemara and Gittin, which Rashi, famous Rashi in the beginning of Shoftim, talks about that afilu yodeya yadata bedin echad shehem danim oso kedine Yisrael al taviyeu ba'arkos shelahem maybe dine Yisrael lifnei armaim mechalal es Hashem miyakir shem ha'elilim l'hachshivo. That the idea of going to Arkos, I have a choice. I can go to Bezdin, and I say, no, I'm going to go to the secular court. I choose to take my fellow Jew there. I am giving, it's not just I am making a mistake, even if they get the right laws, the right adjudication, but I'm showing the Torah is a failure. The Torah can't handle real life problems. I need to go elsewhere to get. And this idea that a Jew should feel the need to do this is the most horrific indictment of the Torah, whether it's because there is no Bezdin, that's what's being described potentially in Parshat Shoftim, or there is one, but I choose not to use it. That is to say that the Torah is not for real life. And this is the greatest advertisement, like the Ramban describes the Asherah as an advertisement for Avodah Zarah. This is the greatest advertisement, whether in the ancient days for Avodah Zarah or in modern days for secularism or whatever the competing system is. If the Torah can't solve and address real life, what's it for? Who needs it? And following this approach, we'll get to some examples in a second, real life stuff, I think. But following this approach, the Pshuto Shel Mikra and the Drash become amazingly close, which I think is supposed to be always, understanding Drash properly. To place an Asherah in the proximity of the Mizbeach is to say there is nothing particularly unique about Torah. They have their way, we have our way. We put little Magen David on top and it's all the same. And so too, if we have corrupt justice, we're really not any better than anybody else. And it's a loud statement that the Torah doesn't lead to a morally and ethically committed community or individuals. just is another curious set of rituals. And if that's what we say, if that's what it's all about, we're in big trouble. Perhaps it's little wonder the Torah says every single Asherah must be chopped down. We can't have a trace of this mindset in our community. But now let's talk about a couple of very real life cases, very painful cases that we see and we deal with. We have agunas. We have individuals, overwhelmingly women, who are suffering and for years. We have individuals who've been abused in our communities, schools, camps, sometimes even shuls. We have individuals who can't find justice. They can't get a proper Beis Din in many communities, or even in New York, we have the Beis Din of America, which is good, but they get dragged elsewhere and they're not supported. And we have these kinds of situations. The ashukim, the people who are victims, and they're not finding support in our community because either justice doesn't exist or the people don't bother, don't care. We've got a very big problem. We lose these people in many, many cases, and can we blame them? After all, they say the Torah doesn't address the real life problems, the real life dilemmas. We need to make sure that when we can solve their problems, which we very often can, we got to be there to do it. And even in the cases which are also very real, when we can't solve everyone's problem, we need to show them we care about them and we're with them, we support them. We can do an awful lot with agunas. The cover that the Ma'agen finds is disgraceful, including amongst many rabbis. And sometimes we can change that. But when we can't, that a person should know we care about them and we're working for them. The abused people, some of them just recent, some of many, many years ago, that to know that we care. Can't take away the past, but to know that we are there to help them, that we won't tolerate that. Something they need to know. And when people need justice, to know that the Rabbanim are the people who are part of the solution, not part of the problem, and we're working desperately to help them, is something that has to be very clear for who we are. And it's something for Rabbanim, but it's something for communities, because Rabbanim are the symbols and the leaders of the communities, but they're not the totality. It's something the entire community has to be behind. There's no two sides in many issues. Two sides take place in Beis Din, but in life, when it comes to supporting the victims need to be supported 100%. And it's something which, if we don't do it, we're planting that asherah. We're putting up a loud advertisement. You don't need to bother over here. Go elsewhere. Maybe you'll find justice, but if you don't find justice there, at least they don't ask much of you, and they don't claim to be moral. They don't claim to be following God's Torah. They don't claim to have it all right. The Torah does say that, but we have to make sure that that's exactly what we're doing, and that's the community that we are creating